Happy holidays, romance readers. I am Liz Donatelli. Welcome to Reader Seeks Romance, the #1 romance novel talk show on YouTube. In celebration of the season, I am chatting with a festive group of authors about their 2024 holiday romance books. Stacey Adgern is the author of The DREIDL Disaster, pub date December 5th. Adele Buck is the author of The Antisocial Season, pub date October 22nd. Holly Cassidy is the author of The Christmas Countdown, pub date October 22nd. Holly Cassidy also writes crime fiction as Hannah Mary McKinnon. Casey Mills is the author of Christmas in Spite of You, pub date September 24th. Welcome, authors.
Hello. Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Okay, let's begin with an icebreaker. Share a holiday tradition that you observe. And I am going to go in the order in which everyone arrived. So, Stacey, you go first.
So one of my favorite traditions is called Lockapalooza. And it was a party that used to be held by my brother and my now sister-in-law. December would pass, January would pass. We didn't think it was going to happen. And then all of a sudden in February, we would get an invitation. Come to Brooklyn for Lockapalooza in March. Because of course the idea was that my brother and sister-in-law wanted as many people to come as possible. And everybody was busy during December and January, even when, Hanukkah was in early November, like everybody was just always busy. And so to have a Hanukkah party in March was perfect because people were relaxed. Everyone could come and say hello. And it was, you'd open the door and there'd be, my brother standing in front of the stove, the latkes, simmering, frying, on the stove, the smell of applesauce and that sour cream stuff. There'd be a gingerbread house building room in the back of the apartment, because some people love that too. And it was just a great, wonderful get together. And it was one of my favorite traditions, and I miss it horribly.
I love that. I envisioned merch being given out at the event or sold where you could get your Lockapalooza like shirts.
You just think like we would get these like I survived Lockapalooza, like 2024 or something shirts, but
yeah,
that never happened, unfortunately.
Adele, please share holiday traditions that you observe.
Well, this is actually not a holiday tradition that I have observed in some time. Kind of going to observe it this year. My family is Scandinavian. My grandmother was from Mandal, Norway, and Scandinavian Christians frequently celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve. Not Christmas Day.
Okay.
And so that was more our thing. Like the whole family would get together and we would have presents, and the Christmas Day was for nuclear families and Christmas Eve was for everyone. And it was kind of one of the few times a year that we would all get together. And then my aunt would make this enormous pot. We're also New Englanders. So my aunt would make this enormous pot of fish chowder. And we would have fish chowder with salt pork and blueberry muffins. And while I will not be celebrating with the fish chowder and the blueberry muffins this year, my husband and I are flying into Oslo on Christmas Eve this year. So we will be celebrating Christmas in Norway.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. So
Yeah.
Is this the first time that you'll be doing that? Is spending Christmas?
First time we'll be spending Christmas in Norway. We've been there once before, which was a wonderful trip. We found the house where my grandmother was born. And so, yeah, it was really, really magical. But this is going to be the first year we'll spend a very cold, very dark Christmas in Oslo, and, with all of the Christmas markets and the lights and the stuff. So we're really looking forward to it.
Holly, what's a holiday tradition that you observe?
Well, I'm beaming in from Iceland today, which is kind of fun. So I'm learning about all kinds of Icelandic traditions. I'm not from Iceland, but I might pick up a couple of their things and take them home. One of our things, I guess, as a family, is that we decorate the tree for Christmas, generally the first weekend of December, or maybe the week before that, depending. And as our tree topper, we have this, I swear, tiny little starfish. It's a finger puppet, and it's probably about that big.
Oh.
And for whatever reason, one of our sons, who are now, 6 feet plus, because they're 21 and twins will be 20 very shortly, we always put this finger puppet on top of the tree as the tree topper. It's the most ridiculous thing. And we nicknamed it Twinkle Twinkle because it's a starfish, obviously. And every year we put Twinkle Twinkle on the tree. And a couple of years ago, we thought we had lost Twinkle Twinkle. And it was a catastrophe. Everybody rummaging through boxes trying to find Twinkle Twinkle. So I guess Twinkle Twinkle will be our tree topper forever.
Oh, that's sweet. Casey, what's a holiday tradition that you observe?
Our kids are grown, so we have 28, 24, and 19. And so, when you have kids, you do the gift thing. That's the fun thing. You make ornaments, you do all that stuff. So our tradition now, or has been for the past couple of years, is my daughter, who is the oldest, she's 28. We make holiday drinks. So we just scour the internet for all these interesting drinks, holiday drinks, like we did, Santa shots one year and had the whipped cream with the little, in the Jello shot. So, but that's what we do. We make these holiday drinks. And it's weird that that my kids are old enough to drink with us. Well, all except the baby, but so that's our thing now. Like, they're grown, they have their own lives and stuff. And my husband and I are just, that's our thing. We do the holiday drinks.
Wow. I love that. I'm guessing peppermint schnapps made an appearance.
Yes, it has made an appearance multiple times.
Well, now that we're all warmed up, congratulations. Each of you have scored a meeting with development producer at Reader Seeks Romance Studios, Liz Donatelli Cavill Hardy. Because I've moved on from my second husband, actor Henry Cavill, and now I'm on to husband number 3, actor husband Tom Hardy. You will picture holiday romances to me as a movie. Casey Mills it is, right? Okay.
Yes.
Christmas inspired you. Okay, well, thrill me, Casey. What do you have?
All right. So imagine that you are Whoville. You are the living, breathing embodiment of Whoville. Mm-hmm. Everything about your life is Christmas. You absolutely love Christmas. And what you love the most about Christmas is going home for the holidays to spend it with your family. This year, you get sick. You cannot go home for the holidays. You have started a new business. You've dumped all your money into this business, which is, by the way, tanked. You're strapped. You're stuck. So your friend says, well, Noelle, your name is Noelle, by the way. Can you tell she's Whoville? Mm-hmm. They said, well, Noelle, you need money. Why don't you Airbnb your apartment out for the holidays? And it sounded like a grand idea until you got sick. So during the course of your medicated state, you can't go home. You decide, okay, I can't do this. I have to cancel this reservation. You go to click cancel for the reservation. You confirmed it. And then you went to sleep.
Oh, my.
Ooh, okay. So, okay.
A couple days later, guess what happens? Your guest comes. You wake up from a NyQuil-induced sleep and you hear somebody slumming around in your kitchen. You grab the closest thing you can find, which is a stuffed elf, and you go in the kitchen, you're ready to attack. And there's this guy there, this wonderful, handsome, all things perfect guy standing in your kitchen, sleeves rolled up, digging through your cabinets. And you're like, what are you doing? He said, I'm looking for trash bags. And she's like, well, what the hell are you doing in my apartment? And he said, this is my apartment for the week. That's your meet cute. So you've got Noelle, you've got Canton. He has rented out this Airbnb because there's a client in her building that he absolutely has to pitch and sell before the holiday closes.
Mm-hmm.
And so when he goes to tell her, yeah, I pretty much have rented this place. It's mine for a week. I'm not leaving. You're leaving. And she said, no, I didn't. I canceled. She goes and grabs her laptop. She comes back in there. He's standing there with his phone, smirk on his face. He's waiting. She pulls it up and she's like, holy crap. Yeah, I'll be right back. She actually confirmed. So he, in the meantime, is cleaning up. She's been sick. There's stuff all over the counters. There's food, all of this stuff. And that's their meet cute. They end up having to have forced proximity for a week in a 1-bedroom apartment. And because he's not leaving, he's got to get this client. She can't go anywhere. She's absolutely broke. He tells her, well, if you want me to leave, give me my money back. She didn't have the money to give him. So she says, okay, you can stay. You can have free reign of the apartment, but I get the bedroom. He goes, okay, that's cool. That'll work. There's only one bathroom. It's in her bedroom.
So I'm hearing forced proximity, and only one bathroom. So it sounds like you created that. Only one bathroom is now your trope. We could definitely exploit that. Only one bathroom also cuts down on production costs because how many sets are we going to have, you know?
Yeah.
The other thing is you mentioned NyQuil. So I'm thinking we could do a nice sponsorship with NyQuil. What's the heat level on this? Because it sounds like it could get pretty spicy.
It gets pretty spicy. It can be adjusted per but I'm going to say heat level of about a 3.
Well, listen, you know, Hallmark's a 1. So if we're talking Netflix, so forget the NyQuil sponsorship because they're going to want to put in their ads. Right. Okay. So forced proximity. Now, you also mentioned the Grinch and Whoville. So I like that tie-in. Noel, cute to have that Christmassy name. Yeah, we like that. Now, who do you see attached to this project?
Of course, my dream male is going to be Idris Elba.
Okay, well, let me just tell you, my second husband, Henry Cavill, and my current husband, Tom Hardy, are from the UK. So and I'm still left off on good terms with Henry. So I might be able to get Idris Elba, but here's the thing. We get Idris, there's no budget for anything else.
Right.
Okay, so we're not even talking about an apartment with a bathroom. We're talking about a tent.
Listen, I'm flexible on characters. He's just got to have that beard. He's just got to have that 6 foot. He's just, as long as he's got, he's just got to be that guy. I'm flexible on a no-name character as long as he's got the look, so we can get that budget right.
Okay, so we could break some new talent. Or we could put some random person and then just kind of in special effects afterwards, make him look like Idris. I mean, it could be done. How about the female lead?
Oh gosh,
any ideas?
Know. She's just kind of got to be. She's just that quirky, awkward girl. Her apartment is full of colors, and so I don't know. Actress wise,
when you just said awkward, I thought of from Insecure, Issa Rae.
She actually could. She could do it. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Loving this. Now, as far as location, where is this story set again?
So it's set in Atlanta, but technically it can be filmed any kind of because the apartment, it's a high rise, and she has kind of one of the mid levels in there, just that open, spacious, modern. So, and there's one scene in there where they go to a community Christmas event that's like it's not a small town, but they make it the small town shops kind of feel, but it's in the city. So technically any city, but my dream filming, of course, is Canada.
Okay. Yeah. You know what? We're going to have to go cheaper. So we're going to have to do Columbus, Ohio.
That'll work.
That way I can personally oversee the production, and we might even be able to do some scenes at my house. I'll charge just scale for that. And we could probably steal some shots on the street because they're not used to people filming. They won't know.
They won't know.
Yeah. Okay. Well, Casey, thank you so much for your time. I'm really liking what I hear. We seem to be simpatico with a lot of the ideas, and even the ones that we're not, we'll just do it my way. Oh, and just FYI, you will not be writing the screenplay. So, and don't even ask.
Wrote it.
Oh, you already wrote it? Okay, well, then we're going to have to do some further negotiations. Well, thank you, Casey. My people will be in touch with yours.
Okay, but thank you. You were the most animated person I've ever pitched to in all my life. Typically, they just sit there and stare at you.
Yeah. You see, I like to give. I like to give a little something back. So, it helps.
I'll go with it. It was perfect. Thank you.
Okay, well, happy holidays, Casey. Okay. Okay. So, Holly, I've just eaten lunch, so I'm in a good mood. So why don't you come on into the conference room? I understand you had to take a flight from overseas, so sorry we had to put you in economy. I hope it wasn't too bad.
It's character forming.
Oh, now that's the type of positive attitude that we want to work with. Okay, so the Christmas countdown, lay it on me.
All right. So the Christmas countdown is the story of Callie, who broke up, or was actually unceremoniously but unequivocally dumped 7 months ago by her childhood sweetheart. They were together for 10 years. So she's been limping along. She's not heartbroken, but she's lost trust in most things and in people in particular. So she's still nursing her broken heart. And she does not want to go home for Christmas this year because her ex-boyfriend is going to be there next door, because their parents live next door to each other, and he will be there with his brand new girlfriend, all sparkly and shiny and new. And so she wants nothing to do with Christmas. As far as she is concerned, the season is cancelled, and she's sitting this one out. Thanks very much. She's a total Grinch. However, her older sister, Anita, will not let Callie get away with this quite so easily. So she builds Callie a tasks and treats advent calendar. Every day alternates from December 1st till December 24th, instead of the crappy little chocolate that you get in one of those paper calendars. Callie receives either a task or a treat. And when she gets a treat, invariably it is linked to the task that she has to perform the next day. So, for example, a treat day is a snow globe, a replica of a snow day that Anita and Callie had together years ago. The next day, she has to go sledding, and she has to get other people to join in the fun and race her to the bottom. So they're supposed to do all of these tasks together, but Anita gets called away on business. Luckily, though, there's a handsome pastry chef called Marco who steps in and offers to help Callie with the advent calendar tasks in return for her financial expertise with his fledgling business Dessert Dudes. So they strike a deal. And perhaps hot chef Marco might just be the spoonful of sugar that Callie needs to get her life back on track and fall in love with Christmas again as well.
I like that spoonful of sugar. I like that line. Does that mean that there's going to be any musical numbers?
Well, I won't be singing them if there are.
Okay, we might write in because that would be fun to do, like a spoonful of sugar, but we do a remake. Then we can just get a single out there. I mean, we could really make money on both fronts. So I'm liking what I'm hearing. As far as the tasks and treats, I'm thinking right away we've got some sponsorship money, because this is definitely Hallmark.
100%, including for the spice level, because it's closed door romance.
Okay, yeah. Perfect then. Now, where is this set?
Well, it's in a fictional place called Fallbrook, which is in western part of New York State. But I based it on Oakville in Canada, in southern Ontario, where I live, and which is actually a renowned location for film shoots. So even in Home Alone, they had a scene that was shot in Oakville many, 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 many years ago. Mm-hmm. So I think we could use Oakville and pretend it's upstate New York.
Yeah, I've got a better idea. Columbus, Ohio.
And we use your house?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. We could use my house. We could use the woods in back of the house. We'll steal some street shots because they don't know what's going on. It's just way cheaper. And they have really good pizza here. So
perfect.
Yeah.
I'm in.
Now let's talk tropes. What trope is in the story?
Friends to lovers.
Friends to
Definitely friends to lovers. Yes.
Friends
Yes. And
to
it's
lovers.
it's actually also, there's a very heavy focus on sisterhood, because there's the relationship between Callie and Anita that is also at the forefront. So that's very important too.
Hallmark loves sisters, especially if they eventually at some point solve a holiday mystery. Is there any chance of us writing in a B storyline about that?
I think we could manage to fit something in there.
I think we should, because as Hannah Mary McKinnon, you write crime. So I think it would be in your wheelhouse to add a little mystery, maybe a light murder. Light murder.
Murder. Yeah, they could solve that and then, fall in love again or something.
Yeah. Yeah. See, with Hallmark, if you're solving a murder, it has to be one that happened like 200 years ago that they're just solving now, but somehow affects their present. So we could really work with that. Okay. Did you create any new tropes? Anything that we could really play up?
I think there's a subclass of revenue, because we might be able to sell advent calendars, the handmade advent calendars that I based the whole book on. So that could be another revenue stream.
I like the cut of your jib. I feel like we know what's going on. We're one mind right now. Who do you see attached to this project? Because we could break some new talent in Columbus, Ohio, let me tell you.
Well, I would really, really love the opportunity to work with Taron Egerton. I think he would be great as Marco.
Yes.
I think he'd be fantastic. And I'm a huge fan of the incredibly talented Sydney Sweeney. So I think she will be great as Callie, please.
Okay. Sydney, she's really on the rise. Some would even say she has arrived. So I don't know if she's within the budget, but we could definitely try. I might be able to pull a few strings. My second husband, Henry Cavill, and my current husband, Tom Hardy, are from the UK, so they might be able to get Taron. I'm seeing a lot of green lights here. But of course, I got to talk to my team. Well, thank you very much, Holly, for your time. Unfortunately, you're due back at the airport in an hour because it was the cheapest flight to get you round trip. So be safe, and my people will be talking to your people.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Adele, you seem confident going into this meeting.
Okay.
Now you don't.
Just gathering myself a little bit here. Give me a break. So what I have for you is the antisocial season. And what we have is a decade-long firefighter, Thea Martinelli, who has lost her nerve due to a terrible accident with one of her colleagues. And as she is trying to exit the fire service, she is offered the opportunity to become the social media manager for the emergency services department in her county. And she knows nothing about social media, certainly not professional social media. They said, no problem. We have a librarian in the county who's been doing it for the library system, and we'll get him to help you learn the ropes of this. So she goes for her first meeting with him, and he is a very hot auburn-haired gentleman who immediately looks like he's kind of ticked off with her, because it turns out that they went to high school together. He had a crush on her, and she barely knew he existed. So they have to work together, because during this holiday season, she's under the gun. The emergency services department want to see far fewer accidents and fires and other emergencies that always happen during the holiday season due to all of these appliances that people never use and lights that are imperfectly deployed and all of these other things that people do during the holiday season. And she has to work with this incredibly grumpy, hot guy. And there's grumpy sunshine. What do we have here is grumpy goof. Tia is a goof. She's a goof. She was class clown. She was Rizzo in the school production of Grease. She was out there. She was loud. She was boisterous. She was a cut up during, in the fire service when they were off duty. And she has to also learn how to be professional, which is not in her wheelhouse at all. But as they start to work together, Simon, the hot auburn-haired guy, realizes that his crush has never really kind of gone away. And she learns some interesting things about him. For instance, he really loves preparing for Christmas. He doesn't want to be in the spotlight. He doesn't love the gift exchange and all of the attention, but he loves baking. He loves decorating. He loves all of this behind the scenes stuff. So as the holiday season wears on and they start falling for each other, she starts providing him with the opportunity to do some holiday prep because his entire family has moved to the other coast and he's not really been able to do all of the things that he normally does during the holiday season. So that is her gift to him. And his gift to her is literally gifts that where he sees her. Her family has always said that she's hard to buy for, but she's not hard to buy for. It's just that her family doesn't consider the things that she likes to be gifts. She doesn't like tchotchkes. She doesn't like stuff you want to dust. She likes her comic books. And he gets her a signed comic book by her favorite creator. So I'm thinking, this is the suburbs of DC, by the way, but I'm here in Columbus, Ohio.
Do you know what? You've been reading the trades too, because
Little
Columbus,
bit,
Ohio
little
is
bit.
the hot place to film.
Absolutely hot place. And since we're saving so much money, I would love to see Anna Kendrick as Thea, because I think she's got that wry sense of humor vibe going on. And of course, if we're talking about a hot auburn-haired guy, we're talking Sam Claflin.
How good is Sam with accents? Because he's going to have a Midwest accent.
I think he'll probably smash it.
Okay. Here's the thing. Anna Kendrick, yeah. Okay, that's pie in the sky. But here's the thing. We could break new talent because I noticed the last name is Martinelli. So I assume, whether or not background information is revealed, that we're dealing with someone possibly of Italian descent.
Definitely of Italian descent. She says specifically she doesn't eat sauce out.
I like that. I agree. I do have some Italian relatives with aspirations in the movie biz, so we could cut some new talent with one of my relatives.
Just as long as they look good with a pixie haircut.
Well, good enough for what we'd be paying. We will try Anna Kendrick because, yes, I mean, that would be, now you're talking Netflix, which begs the question, what's the spice level? Okay, so are we going Netflix or are we going like Showtime?
We could go either way here. I mean, I'm telling you, this is Harlequin Afterglow. This is not your Hallmarks here. We're talking high heat level.
I like the grumpy goof that we're going to play up. As a matter of fact, what would you think of changing the title from the antisocial season to Grumpy Goof?
Sure, go for it.
Really? So you're willing to do just about anything to get this made? An admirable quality. Let's see. Comic book. Everybody loves comic book readers. They're relatable. They're a little bit nerdy, but they're sexy. So we're going to keep that.
It's a comic I made up. So we could have a tie-in because there's no IP here.
Wow. You've done your homework. And I appreciate that. I got to ask, because you mentioned about the heat level, is there a sex scene on a fire truck?
No, but there is an interestingly very, it's kind of a lead up scene where they're trying to film a instructional video for smoke detectors that happens on a ladder.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to talk to Netflix because they take spice, but with their holiday movies, they might have to, change the ladder to a stool. So it's not as sexy. People think firefighter, what are they expecting? They're expecting that shirtless guy on the cover, but you've switched the script. You've switched the script, Adele, and we can really use that to our advantage with marketing. Well, I do have a lot of other people who pitched me first, and so you might never hear from me, or you might hear from me tomorrow. But I thank you for your time, Adele, and happy holidays.
You too.
Stacey Adgern, is that you?
Yes, that is me. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
It's a pleasure. Your book is The DREIDL Disaster.
The grand tradition of holiday movies about fixers, and also a wonderful promotional opportunity for the Columbus Blue Jackets, might I add.
What? Someone knows a lot about
Yes,
Columbus.
I have done my research. We start with Mayor Olivia Nachman, who is unfortunately stuck cleaning up the mess after the junior PR rep sent by the hockey team her town is collaborating with. The proposal that this awful PR rep gave was atrocious and angered the entire town when all they wanted to do was have a Hanukkah event, which meant the team that they are working with had to send in a fixer. And the thing is, nobody is ready for Artur Rabinovich. Nobody is ready for him. Not even Olivia herself. Not even her very closely guarded heart. So it is up to Artur to help Olivia soothe the feathers of the town and create this beautiful celebration in conjunction with the local hockey team and create this amazing, wonderful story. And of course, he's never been in a situation ever where he could trust someone so completely. They fall very quickly because I've heard a certain aspect of their relationship called confidence porn. So we have a fixer, we have very confident people, like a small town mayor. He loves the way that she does her job, and she slowly and very quickly falls in love with the way he does his. They charm the entire town, including the very cautious and watchdog of the local chamber of commerce. But the town is excited to have this installation. They are Briarwood and not Hollowville, nor Rivertown, nor any other town that has recently had Hanukkah festivals. They do not do such festivals. They have installations. So maybe an area like Beechwood in Ohio would be a perfect place for filming. It catches the atmosphere of Briarcliff Manor, which is the original location of Briarwood. I was thinking Connecticut, but Beechwood actually works pretty well in terms of the kind of town that Briarwood is. There's a lot of ideas there's a lot of conversation in the story about the kind of town that Briarwood is, and a town like Beechwood would fit that perfectly. It would be a great thing for the Columbus Blue Jackets because the story itself was actually partially inspired by something that the Washington Capitals did following their Stanley Cup victory back in 2019. The center of this installation and the reason for the collaboration is a sculpture made out of hockey sticks donated by the team. And the Columbus Blue Jackets need some joy this year for a lot of different reasons. And so this would be a perfect way to bring some happiness and joy into people's lives, and a little bit of Hanukkah and a little bit of joy and a little bit of wonder. I would love, if entirely possible, to see Max Greenfeld in the role of Artur. Ever since I saw that particular It's Judaism Son meme, that is very much, as they say, big Artur energy. As for Olivia Nachman herself, Alexandra Tershin, who has worked with Hallmark before in a movie called Made for Each Other, would be absolutely perfect in the role.
Okay, got it. Okay, so Beechwood, yes. Beechwood's in Cleveland.
Yes.
So, right.
Or
So
a similar town in the Columbus area that captures that very same vibe.
okay, so that's about 2 hours plus from Columbus, but we could do remote shoots
Perfect.
in Beechwood, and then we could come back for the Blue Jacket, film.
Exactly.
Okay, very strong small town vibes. Okay,
Very
the
much so.
town is a character, if you will,
Yes.
in the story.
Briarwood is
Okay,
absolutely a character in the
okay.
story.
I'm hearing Hallmark, but
Yes.
okay, so the spice level is Hallmarkian.
Yes, there are a couple peppercorns, we're about maybe somewhere between 0.5 and 1, but that's even pushing it. No latkes were fried and harmed in the making of this book.
Okay. All right.
Spice.
Cute. That's going to be the tagline for the movie.
Excellent. And definitely unfortunately, a lot of sour cream, because one of the things that our main male character loves is sour cream. He has a bit of a sour cream obsession.
The actors you'd like attached to the project, we have to make sure that they are not lactose intolerant.
Yes, there are a couple of potential non-dairy sour creams that would do fantastically in the role, but
yeah.
Yes.
Listen, we're going to have to do a dollop of Daisy.
Perfect. Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful. I've always wanted to see Daisy do the applesauce or alternative commercial during this time of year, and it would be perfect.
What tropes?
Small town.
Yeah.
And definitely the fixer trope.
Fixer.
As our main male character is a fixer. We also have the small town mayor trope, which kind of slides to a degree into the celebrity trope just a bit, because we have our watchdog chamber of commerce and the rest of the town watching her every move. Again, this is, we've got a single female mayor of a small town. So clearly, like every 5 minutes, everybody knows if she's changed her coat.
Here's my thought.
Talk to me.
So we got to play up the celebrity of this mayor. Perhaps
absolutely, yes.
The mayor maybe goes viral doing something.
Sure,
I don't know.
yes.
Who knows? Grabbing a cookie out of a trash can, and she goes viral. Exactly. You don't know a cookie or like matzah. We could do matzah, Actually,
it's kind of interesting because, when we go back to matzah, it's one of the things that the very first proposal ties into Hanukkah.
There you go. You see, I somehow knew that intuitively because we're vibing. Okay. So we got to play up the celebrity. That way we could do the celebrity normie. Exactly. And there's that hockey adjacent relationship. Exactly. I mean, to be honest, Netflix might ask to change him to a hockey player who's been benched and is doing these projects on the side, because Netflix, they get up in my business about things like this.
Then we can kind of pull in, then we can kind of up the background of the hockey player who's coming in.
We could, but I'm going to fight for your vision. I'm going to fight for your vision though. Unless I can't.
I can see definitely a couple of different angles playing with it.
Okay. Yes. Yeah. And you're not writing the screenplay. Got to tell you that.
Oh, no. There are many things I am capable of doing. That is not one of them.
Okay. As a matter of fact, I might have to start writing the screenplays because the budget's so low. The budget's so low for writers. Unfortunately,
it takes a gift to write a good screenplay, and I do not have it.
Yeah, I have many gifts.
Yes,
I have many gifts, and that is one of them. Stacey, you've been great. Happy Hanukkah to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for your time. I might never see you again, but you know what? I might call you in 30 minutes and say it's a go. You never know in this business.
Never know.
Okay, thank you so much, Stacey.
Of course.
Now it's time for the fun segment. This title needs a story, holiday romance edition, inspired by cold weather puns. Okay, pick a number between 1 and 5. Okay, let's see. Adele.
4.
Winners and losers.
Winners and losers. Okay, we have a luge competition. And a loser who has suffered this horrific wipeout and who needs to get their confidence back. And there is a celebrity charity luge expo that's going on, and this loser needs to get their confidence back, and their physical therapist / coach is in there to get them back on that sled and going down that ice in order to raise money for those orphans that need it.
Wow. So now it's interesting because this would be a sports romance nobody has ever attempted, is luging. And actually I think it should be called then Winners and Losers instead of Winners and Losers. So you've elevated this pun to the next level.
I used to be an actress. I didn't do a lot of improv, but
Okay. Yeah, you really attacked that. Good for you. Stacey, 1, 2, 3, or 5?
Let's do 2.
2. Okay. Number 2 is freeze the day.
Okay. The power has gone out. It is, I would say, maybe 3 days before Christmas, about 3 days before Christmas, 4 days before the first night of Hanukkah. 2 people run, like, go through, try to like grab as much as they possibly can, except there is 1 box of candles. It is unfortunately the box of candles that our heroine has ordered for her menorah.
Okay.
And she had counted on the fact that it was there and was going to grab some other things like logs for her fireplace in hopes that like there would be fire, you know, and heat and warmth and power. Except here's the problem. She has had this huge crush on this guy for the past 5 years or so. Like, they've seen each other in various places together. Like, they've kind of hung out for a while and they were maybe dating, but they didn't end up dating. And he unfortunately is, he's been watching her. He's been watching her too. So they've kind of, but they're ridiculous because nothing has happened. And their friends have been yelling at the both of them. So finally, on this day where there is no power, he offers to share his fireplace, and also she will bring the candles.
Okay.
And so they are in his apartment with a lovely blanket, and they share their days until the power comes back on. 3 days later, she is having a tiny little party in her apartment, a couple of close friends, before she heads back to her family's big celebration. And there is a knock on the door. And it's him with a box of candles. And he joins the party, and here we go.
Holly, we have 1, 3, or 5 left.
3.
3 is It's a Winterful Life.
So I think this might be a story of 2 people who are traveling somewhere for the holidays. Let's make it Switzerland, why not? Their flight gets diverted to a very small airport because there's so much snow and there's only 1 hotel room left.
Mm.
And they decide that they're going to share it. But here's the kicker. They were in high school together. They did date for a while and they had a really bad breakup. And now they are at this tiny little town, in this tiny little airport, in this tiny little room. And the question is whether sparks will fly or not. And when they get to Switzerland, they're actually supposed to be going to a wedding.
Oh.
His wedding.
Oh.
Yeah.
Casey. So we have Snow Place Like Home, or I Only Have Ice for You.
I Only Have Ice for You.
Okay, go for it.
The guy is from a small town and he wins this ice making competition. So he goes to a big city and he has this competition where he has to do this ice making, and they have live models. And he has to spend the day sculpting this woman, and she's a live model, but she's also she needs the money, which is why she does it, because she's a social media influencer and everybody thinks that she's so great. She has all this money and she actually is broke. So she's kind of very snooty and just not the nicest person. And he's like having to sculpt her with this ridiculous holiday costume, maybe an elf or something. I don't know, something that totally is just beneath her, but her agent sends her there and he's like, you got to do this. And so he only has ice for her because he's sculpting her the whole time. And in between breaks, like they start to hang out and she's getting to know him. She brings him coffee, that kind of stuff. And he ends up making the ice sculpture of her. And it's just the most beautiful thing in the world. He wins the competition, happily ever after.
Oh, wow, you went through the whole story. That's great. Everyone was very inspired tonight. And just FYI, if anyone should decide to take these titles and these ideas and turn them into a holiday romance, all you have to do is thank me in the acknowledgments and I won't sue you.
Okay.
Thank you, Stacey, Adele, Holly, and KC for playing This Title Needs a Story and for joining me here on Reader Seeks Romance. Happy holidays to all.